This week's episode of Do Go On is brought to you by Perth. Well, the fact that we're coming to Perth this Sunday, November the 3rd.
We are sponsored by the city of Perth.
Thanks, Perth. Every single person in Perth has given us a cent each, and that's really done wonders for us. Thank you. No, a lot of people have bought tickets to our show this Sunday, but we have some seats left, and the flights are very expensive. So come on over.
Why didn't anyone warn us about that?
It's the same country. Oh, my God. It would have been cheaper to go to Costa Rica and do this goddamn
Guys,
show.
what are you talking about? We got awesome flights at 6 a.m. on a Saturday. What do you mean?
Which means we'll have to be up at 3:30 in the morning or something. Anyway, we're going to be there Sunday, November the 3rd. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be tired, but having a great time doing a podcast, followed by a live quiz type thing, which would be a lot of fun. One ticket gets you entered into both. So come along at dogoonpod.com for tickets. And whilst you're there, if you're from the UK, check out that same website for tickets to our Dublin show, which is nearly sold out. Sorry, that's Ireland, I should say. Then we're over to the UK. We're hitting up Glasgow, Leeds, Bristol. Sadly, that is sold out. Birmingham, and 2 shows in London. A second show in London is nearly also sold out. So if you're interested in any of that, just check out dogoonpod.com. And Matt has just announced he's doing a stand-up show in London.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about that. But I am. I don't know what. I think it's on the 7th of December, and it's at the Bill Murray. And you can get tickets via mattstewartcomedy.com/gigs.
I'm busy that night.
Or it's probably it would be, I would have tweeted about it. It's the pinned tweet at mattstew_art. That's a sick plug. Nice and succinct. If the advertising industry wants to hire me, do so. Now on with the show.
Do so on.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates.
Hello and welcome to just saw Jess's face and I
What
just
did
lost
I
it.
do?
Oh dear.
Dave, this is it. Keep going.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Go On. My name is Dave Monaghan and I'm sitting here with Matt Stewart and Jess Perkins' face
What did I do? I was just smiling.
at Matt, and I just went, "That's not going to break me. It's broken me."
Yeah.
Just a smile.
That's because never in our 4 years have I ever smiled at Matt before.
Who would? How could you?
Yeah. I wasn't even looking at it. I wouldn't know what to do.
I was laughing because I was enjoying that, because we always take too long to get onto the report. We sort of sit here and we chat for a while, and sometimes it's me who goes, "All right, come on," and sometimes it's Matt, and today he went, "Come on, Dave, start the show," and I just enjoyed that. I enjoyed that moment of Matt being like, "Fuck, we don't have a lot of time."
You know what it is? It's Blockoween week.
Ooh,
Which is
spooky.
And traditionally the last week of Block. It all builds up to this.
I'm dressing up as a block for Blockoween.
Yeah, which is the only option.
Get to a party, you're like, "Oh, come on, guys, I shotgunned this."
Everyone's dressed as a block.
For people that don't know what Blocktober is, Matt, what the hell are we talking about?
Blocktober month is the most beautiful time of the year. Every Blocktober, we do the biggest, blockbusteriest topics, the most requested, the most voted for topics, and it all comes down to this. This is the most requested / most voted for topic
Of the year.
of the year.
My goodness.
That's crazy.
Because so far, this is we were blessed with 5 Wednesdays
Yes.
this October, coming out every Wednesday.
It
in
was
Australia.
5 Wednesdays to
miracle.
you.
Yeah. And so what have we got? We've had Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
We've done the Golden State Killer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alistair Trombley Birchall blessed us with a history of the penis, keen for peen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Last week, the 4th member of the show, Nick Mason, graced us with his presence and did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But what could be the most requested topic of the year?
Well, to get onto that topic, I'm going to ask a question. The other topics that we've done as a bonus episode was history or some sort of bio of each of the 3 of us.
That's right.
And one of the other most ever requested topics is the next bonus episode, which will be coming out. Maybe it already is out.
Probably will be already out,
Well,
ideally.
do you want to say what it is?
Will it be out? Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, it will be out.
Yeah, it'll be out.
What is it, Bob?
It is a biography of the 4th Beatle himself,
Ringo.
Nick Mason.
Oh,
How
what?
dare you? Ringo? Surely it's John.
Yeah, John was there.
Famously the least talented Beatle. So that was so much fun hearing you tell us all about Nick Mason,
Yeah, if you want to hear
the
it.
number one party boy.
That's right. And if you want to hear those, that's right. We should go to our Patreon page. That's where we upload 2 bonus episodes every single month. And that is patreon.com/dogoonpod. And lots of old bonus episodes for you to catch up there.
Yes, that's right. Anyway, to get us onto the topic today, the most voted for topic of the year, the question is, occurring in Hollywood, California. Dave, where you've just been.
This weekend I was there. Oh, my God. Hang on.
What?
It's about my weekend. The most requested topic. What Dave did on the weekend.
What kind of Mexican food item upset Dave's little tummy? No, the question
If you
is,
answered all of them, you'd be correct. But I love it so much. My goodness, I love it.
the question is, what is one of the most infamous unsolved murder mysteries occurring in Hollywood, California?
California.
Yeah.
Now, when I was there, I went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, went outside the famous Grauman's Chinese Theatre.
Oh, yeah.
And I saw that's where people put their handprints, their feet prints, if you will. And one of them was Natalie Wood, who we talked about, who
Another
mysteriously died, possibly murdered. That's when you say Hollywood murder, that's where I go to. But Jess has already talked about that, so I don't know.
Been there, done that, Dave.
Tick, tick.
Also,
Yes.
I've also seen the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Really?
Okay, you're not that fancy man. Okay.
The name includes a colour?
Ooh.
Blue.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Darker.
Brown.
Okay.
Darker still.
Great.
Dark charcoal.
The darker. Go dark. Go.
Black.
Yes. Murder mystery in Hollywood.
Black Dahlia.
Yes, it is. The Black Dahlia Murder
Ah.
Mystery.
I did not know that was a Hollywood thing.
Yes, it was very much so.
And it is frequently requested. It's in the hat a lot.
It is.
So this checks out.
Okay, it was suggested by Johnny Dawson, Christina Bailey. She's put in brackets, Christina with a K. I've just read the Christina with anyway.
Hold on, did she spell Christina with a CH and then in brackets right with a K?
No, it was both with a K, but I love that attention to detail. Tom Ford, Antonia Daly, Justin Graham, Rafe Peterson. Oh, he's got a pronunciation in there as well. Pronounced like Rafe. What did I say?
Rafe.
Rafe with a K. Crave. Thanks for your suggestion, Crave.
Jeremiah M. Bang.
You're just making these up now.
No, these are all real. Camille Borowski
With a K.
with a K.
That is with a K, we know.
I know.
Camille, he bought me a Gary t-shirt. Alexander McElroy, Will Cardulo, Devin Bruns, Fernando.
Well, one name was Fernando, like Prince.
Just the one name.
Thank you, Fernando.
McKenna Middlebrook and Fevia Smith, and that's with a PH. Fevia.
Fevia.
Fantastic.
Wow, what
Wow.
a banging collection of names. Thank you so much to those people suggesting a topic.
Yes, thank you so much to all of you. Now, here starts my report. Obviously,
Here starts my report.
here lies my report.
Can I just say before we crack into this episode, Block has already changed my life. Possibly not for the better. The last serial killer or murder that we did, which was the Golden State Killer, where we talked about a man who would break into people's homes and then kill them. I literally went home and checked that my windows were locked that night before I went to bed because that was his thing that he'd break in, sometimes be in your house several times before.
Yeah.
I'd never considered how easy it is for someone to do that. And
And you live in the Rialto. So this is a famously tall building in Melbourne.
Yeah, sorry about that.
yeah, so
Here's a joke people of Melbourne will understand.
I'm just looking forward for this harrowing tale, no doubt, to again change my life for the worse.
Because he was a prowler as well, so he used to just sort of like hang out in people's gardens and look in their windows. And to get to my car from my apartment, I have to walk in this fairly narrow path between fence and building that's just like pebbles and bins. It's not particularly interesting, but I'm walking along there like if someone was to chase me, I've got nowhere to escape. I just have to keep running. So yeah, that's been fun.
Yeah. So this show does
Good.
change
I
our lives.
spooked myself, so that's good.
Well,
Here we go again.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yay!
This is another grim tale.
Yeah, but just make it light and fun.
That's going to have to fall to you.
Okay, Dave, just make it light and fun.
Okay.
On January the 15th, 1947, in Los Angeles, mother Betty Bersinger was on her way to the shops with her 3-year-old daughter Anne in a pram.
Anne in the pram.
Oh,
See, I'm already keeping
light.
it light. Keeping
It's
it light.
light. It's fun. It's healthy.
Anne, where's Anne? She's in the pram. You know?
There's
Oh, hello, Anne. Just a bit of an act out there for fun.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the neighbour walking past them and I see Betty.
yeah.
I go, oh, hello, Betty. And who's in the pram down here? And I lift up the little lid, I assume they're
Yeah.
called, of prams to check.
They're in Tupperware.
Yeah. And
Tupperware
I-
on wheels.
I say, oh, hello, Anne. You're in the pram.
You know, pram is short for perambulator.
Oh, that's dumb.
No,
What a dumb word.
I couldn't believe it.
What does it mean?
I don't know.
Perambulator.
It just sounds like a mad scientist came
Yeah.
up with it. Get in the perambulator.
Anne.
We got to get it up to 79 gigawatts. Okay.
Yeah, something crazy you made up.
So there's heaps of info on this, but it's on this case, but it's so inconsistent. So many different sources. So much of it is debunked, but it's hard to know which stuff is and what isn't. Anyhow, I found this cool article from a student at the University of North Carolina named Morgan Korzik. And he just got this great website resource, which I'll link to in the description. The Wikipedia is actually fantastic on this as well. But I think I've got a dozen or so resources if people want to read further. And there's so many videos and documentaries, a lot of
Wow.
homemade ones, a lot of television ones that are silly almost in how dramatic they do it. Like those old school 90s
Yeah.
camera angles and stuff. But
Betty was walking. She wasn't expecting what she saw next.
black and white to colour to
Yeah.
black and white. Yeah. A student. I've just said that. So just started that paragraph again, like it was a whole new thing. So Morgan Korzik wrote the next paragraph, which describes what happened next. While Betty walked along the sidewalk, he has an interesting writing style.
He doesn't know what the backspace does, so he just includes all his mistakes.
Always moving forwards. Yeah. While Betty walked along the sidewalk, she noticed something white among the weeds. She did not think much of it at first, as many people would throw trash into the vacant lots. As she glanced at the subject, she initially thought someone had thrown away a store mannequin that had been separated into halves.
Oh.
Betty continued to walk forward, yet something drew her attention back. Upon closer inspection, she realized that it wasn't a mannequin at all. It was a woman who had been severed in half.
Oh, dear.
Betty gave a panicked scream and led her daughter away from the gruesome sight. So it's a fucked story.
Okay.
Bersinger quickly telephoned the police at a nearby house, thus kicking off one of the most infamous murder mystery cases of all time. When Bersinger found the body, it was in a grisly state, obviously. It was naked, it was cut clean in half at the waist, missing the intestines, and with cuts either side of her mouth, sort of known as the, they call it, is it the Glasgow smile? Or what is that? It's got a name.
Yeah.
With it, almost looks like that Joker style. Yeah, fucked. Strangely, there was no blood at the scene, pointing to the fact the murder probably occurred elsewhere. Police have talked about it since that they think it happened at a property or a building not too far away, and then her body was left there. And before that, the body was drained of blood, cleaned with alcohol or gasoline, and placed where Bersinger found it. It was placed in almost like very purposefully.
Yeah, right.
Almost like in a, some people say it was like inspired by an artwork, possibly.
Ah.
But
But they cleaned it to remove evidence?
I think that would be the main thing, yeah. After members of the LAPD took prints from the body, they sent them through to the FBI, who had a match in their database. There's a whole article I found which talks about how they use new technology to make this happen really quickly, but I figure that's probably not the most interesting part of the story. So the FBI had a match, and they identified the body as 22-year-old aspiring actress Elizabeth Short. Her prints had been entered into the system twice prior to this, once when she applied to work on a US Army base, and a second time when she was arrested on September the 23rd, 1943 for underage drinking in Santa Barbara. The police struggled to find any initial leads, and on January 21st, they released their special daily bulletin with the headline, Wanted, Information on Elizabeth Short, between dates January 9 and 15, 1947. The article reads, description, female, American, 22 years, 5 foot 6 inches, 118 pounds, black hair, green eyes, very attractive, bad lower teeth, fingernails chewed to quick. This subject being found brutally murdered, body severed and mutilated. January 15, 1947 at 39th and Norton. Isn't it? It's like you wouldn't see the very attractive part.
No.
anymore.
No, and I don't think you'd see. Oh, would you see found brutally severed, or you wouldn't see severed, or
Yeah,
I don't know.
There was an interesting thing back then. Apparently, I read in a couple of places that when gruesome finds like that happened, and apparently it wasn't that irregular. There was, murders. They've always happened, but despite what you hear in the media today, where they say now violence is now happening, well, they make it sound like this generation's the first one
All
to
of
do
a
violence.
sudden, yeah.
But they used to Photoshop on like a blanket over the top of the body to hide some like the wounds and stuff. Isn't that strange? Old newspaper articles. Like, there's a kind of famous photo of Elizabeth Short's body with covered in a blanket, but apparently that was put on, using not photoshopping. I don't think they had that back then. But
Probably not.
some primitive version.
So what's the point of showing it if you're just going to show a blanket?
I guess, I don't know. So they can show something.
Just put in a picture of a blanket then.
If you were reading that about you, you'd be pretty stoked with very attractive. And then 2 dot points later, they're ripping on your teeth.
Yeah,
For
right.
real.
Bad lower teeth.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's right. It's, it is all very strange. It's also strange that you think of her body was found in such a way that they're still saying very attractive.
Yeah.
It's just different time.
Yeah.
Oh, well. I don't know. Arrest whoever wrote that because they're into some weird stuff.
Oh, check out this hottie.
Yeah.
Greg.
Greg, come on.
Come on, mate.
She's got bad teeth. Come on.
Mate, she's got no intestines, okay?
Do you know what dahlia means? I'd never heard the word.
it a
before.
flower?
It is. It's a flower.
I was going to say that, but I was taking a drink of water. But I was also going to say dahlia. It was a flower.
Did you know in?
I was. Shut up.
Oh,
I was just at the ABC where you work, Jess.
Yes.
And a security man.
Yes.
He asked me what he listens to Do Go On, and he asked me what topic I was doing tonight. I mentioned it to him, and he goes, "Oh, that's mentioned in the recent Spider-Man movie. The 2 of the characters are kind of obsessed, including Spider-Man and his girlfriend, I think, are kind of obsessed with it. And he gives her a present, which is a Black Dahlia brooch.
Oh.
Yeah, which I didn't understand what that was all about really until the last few weeks when I've been researching this.
Imagine bonding over a murder.
Yeah, and any kind of
To
murder.
the point where you buy gifts that are linked to a murder.
Yeah,
That's weird.
well,
Just saying.
yeah, no judgments.
No judgments, you freaks.
Hey, Spider-Man could save us any day, and you seem ungrateful.
And
to
I'll
be
have a
honest.
word.
Okay.
I'll have a word.
When he drops in.
When Peter Parker drops in, I'll say, hey, thank you very much for saving me. Appreciate it. Also, can I have a go at the thing? Does that work? Can you show me?
Thwip.
The thwip, you mean?
The thwip.
The thwip
Yeah.
machine.
And thirdly, let's have a chat because, there's sports,
The
there's
3-point plan you've
Netflix,
got.
there's so many other things you can do with your time.
Not brooches.
What the who the fuck wears brooch? Oh, actually, we're really into enamel pins these days,
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
and it's essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, take
How
that back.
would you get onto the subject?
What?
Another way of saying that would be brooch. All right.
That's great. That's great wordplay.
The switcheroo there was meant to be that it was so obvious. I was about to say brooch and then I didn't, but it wasn't obvious
It
enough
wasn't.
that the joke.
You had to explain it to
Worked.
me. So that could be me.
And Dave and the listeners out there, if that doesn't get edited out. But we are recording this pretty close to when it has to go out. So
it won't get edited out.
It's disputed where the Black Dahlia nickname comes from, but according to the LA Times, it originated in the summer of 1946 at Lander's drugstore at First Street and Linden Avenue in Long Beach as a joke among customers referring to the then current movie, The Blue Dahlia, because of Elizabeth Short's sheer black clothing and jet black hair. So the joke was, she's like the movie Blue Dahlia, only she's black hair and black clothes. She was apparently a customer at this chemist. Imagine being the kind of person that's so like, she was obviously the kind of person that got people's attention. She was like a semi-regular customer at a chemist.
She was
that
very
other
attractive.
Customers, that's true.
She was very attractive.
Police have said so.
That will get people's attention.
Yeah, but have you ever been a customer at a shop?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, so that was her nickname before she died, you're saying?
Apparently, yeah.
Right, understood. Gotcha. I thought that it was
But
like after she died, they're like, oh, you mean the Black Dahlia?
That's
Where's that? Right.
according to the LA Times. Other people say that a journalist came up with it, but it seems like to me I believe it to be that journalists found out that story and then started calling her that. But there are initially I can't remember if I wrote this down, but there are other names. I think it was known as the werewolf murders for a while or something like that. So, but it ended, obviously now it's famously known as the Black
Certainly
Dahlia
an
murder.
intriguing name.
The Times goes on to say that Los Angeles newspapers of the 1940s, especially the Afternoon Herald Express, frequently nicknamed the more gruesome murders of women, often after flowers. For example, there was the red hibiscus murder and the white gardenia murder.
Because women are flowers, all of them. Delicate, beautiful flowers. And colours exist. So...
Remember when I said, I wonder if I mentioned it? Anyway, I did in the next paragraph. The Herald initially nicknamed Elizabeth Short's killing the werewolf murder before dropping it in favour of Black Dahlia. As well as a flower, it's also a kind of butterfly and a sea anemone. Anemone. What is that
It's
word?
where Nemo lives.
Yeah.
And he can't say it either.
Oh,
but
thank
he's a small baby fish. and you're a big, fully grown man. But he's a little baby fishy, and he can't say it either. So
Me and Nemo got a bit in common. So let's go back.
that makes you Marlon, the grumpy dad.
Hey, he gets the son back. He gets
true.
it done.
He's also played by a comedy legend.
I'm
who I'm
Dory.
blanking on his name
Is it
right now.
Martin Lawrence?
No.
You're thinking of Big Mama's House.
That would have been a different movie.
I don't know why that was funny. Just because it wasn't him. Albert Brooks.
Albert Brooks.
Oh,
Probably because it was
right.
like 2 generations older of a comedian.
He's the Martin Lawrence of
Bad Boys.
of the 70s.
If they did a Bad Boys movie in the 60s or 70s, it would have been Albert Brooks.
There you go. But
And-
instead we got Martin Lawrence.
So here's Elizabeth's biography. Elizabeth Short was born on the 29th of July, 1924 in Boston, Massachusetts. Her parents were Cleo and Phoebe May Short. She was the third of 5 daughters. When she was still young, she became passionate about cinema, and by the time she was a teenager, she dreamed of becoming an actress. This is a quote from Eleanor Kurtz, a friend and neighbour of Short in Medford. Dottie, Elizabeth's sister, Bet, and I were going to be movie stars. We were all entranced with movie stars, starstruck, spent hours talking about movie stars, about going to Hollywood. We performed using Short's front porch as a stage. Every Friday, as soon as the song sheets came out, we'd pull our money, get the latest sheets, and spend hours singing. Bet imitated Deanna Durbin, walked like her, talked like her, and in my eyes, sang like her. Surely in her ears,
Yeah.
but just big movie fans.
Yep.
Always dreaming of stardom.
She definitely knows her Albert Brooks from her Martin Lawrence.
Yeah, I reckon she probably.
She's a buff. Sorry, I'm not.
Emma Pashow or Pasios or something like
I
that.
prefer Pashow.
Pashow. It's got a certain pashow to it.
Pashow and the dirt is gone.
She was a friend and neighbour in Medford. Said her hair was very dark black. She liked to be admired. No one had bad thoughts about her. I just liked her. Once you saw Bet Short, You couldn't forget her. In her 2010 book, The Black Dahlia Shattered Dreams, Brenna Horgan said, Short's father Cleo worked building mini golf courses till the 1929 stock market crash sent him broke. Can you imagine that? Isn't that a wild story?
Sorry, that's so funny. The stocks. Oh no, the mini golf course.
They're the first ones to go when the economy hits
Yeah,
hard
that's
times.
right. You know, it's really going bad with the mini golf courses down.
I had a moment where I realised that someone out there makes the mini golf course.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sorry, I just laughed at their industry.
No. I just sort of like, you don't think about where your mini golf course comes
Yeah.
from.
I love the idea that they still check the stocks every day just in case. All right, boys, go ahead. We can build these 3 holes where 2 holes are fake holes. 1 hole's the real one. They'll never guess which one.
Always diversify. Invest in bonds, stocks, and mini golf courses. And teeny tiny golf courses.
Oh, it's...
She says the following year his car was found. Oh, sorry, I forgot where this goes. It gets sad straight after. The following year his car was found abandoned on the Charleston Bridge. His body wasn't recovered, but it was assumed he jumped off the bridge. Assumed, but never proven. After this, Phoebe moved her 5 daughters to a small apartment in Medford, just north of Boston, where she worked in multiple jobs, including as a bookkeeper to support the family. Short was an asthmatic and had lung issues, undergoing surgery when she was 15. It was recommended that she move to warmer weather in the wintertime to aid in her recovery and prevent further issues. She spent the following winters in Florida with family and friends. In 1942, her mother Phoebe received a letter from Cleo, the man who disappeared.
the mini golf man.
Yes. He'd been presumed dead, but it turned out that he'd faked his own death and was writing to apologize from his new home in California. Apparently, he wanted to come home to the family, but Phoebe did not accept his apology and refused to see him again, which I feel like is probably fair enough.
Yeah, that's pretty justified, I reckon.
Early the following year, Elizabeth, who was now 18, decided to move to Vallejo. I'm so sorry, California people. That is almost definitely not correct. But a place called Vallejo in California to live with her dad while she chased her Hollywood dream. She hadn't seen him since she was 5 or 6. So, I imagine that must have made her mum feel cool.
Yeah, fuck.
I don't know. Maybe her mum was like, yeah, I can't see him again, but you should have a relationship with your dad. I have no idea. It didn't take long for the relationship to sour, with Cleo apparently accusing Elizabeth of laziness. Elizabeth of laziness. Oh my God.
Someone's got a lazy tongue over there.
Accusing her of laziness and poor housework. She moved out early in 1943. She was your daughter and house guest. Why are you...
No, but your daughter, woman.
Oh, sorry.
So
yes.
you should be
Sorry,
better.
no,
you
good
should
point.
be better at housework. It's innate in us.
Look, as the feminist of the podcast, I'd say that idea is a little outdated, Jess.
Yeah, what year is this, by the way, that you're talking about?
43.
Yeah, okay.
The roaring 40s, the modern age.
Yeah.
Man has invented flight. This is when she got a job as a cashier, coincidentally, on a US Air Force base. That was totally coincidental, called Camp Cook, which is how the FBI... I'm glad they invented flight, because the Air Force base was sitting around waiting for something to do. And this is how the FBI had her first set of fingerprints on file. According to Korzik, the serviceman quickly noticed her, and she won the title of Camp Cutie of Camp Cook in a beauty contest. What do you think of that?
Did she enter herself, or did they just...
It kind of reads like she was, they had a word quietly in the corner. She was hanging around just having some food in the cafeteria, and they put a sash on her.
Yeah, we've elected you Camp Cutie. What the fuck?
Something about that. I wasn't sure if Jess would love it or hate it. Camp Cutie of Camp Cook.
See, that's so interesting, Matt, because you are so right in both ways. Because obviously I hate it, but also Camp Cutie. Hello. I want to be Camp Cutie.
I'm jealous as well.
Cutie sounds nice.
I just hate how it's a 5-word title and 2 of the words are camp.
Yeah.
Surely you can bring them into one camp. Just Camp Cutie of Camp Cook. The camp's
That's
implied already. Camp Cutie.
Camp Cook Cutie.
Camp Cook Cutie. It sounds like one of those old wartime songs.
Camp Cook Cutie. Yeah.
At the bubbity boop.
We should go back in time
Yeah.
and be an adorable band.
We have to have a cover. And that's it. We like the time machine lands in a mess hall, and we quickly knock out the existing band, swap into their clothes, and then we're doing we're shabopping on stage. Where oh no, I should babadooba camp cutie company. Phew, I think we pulled it off.
Why did we knock out the band?
I don't
Why
know.
did we just join the party or slink out the back or something? Why
We
did
were
you
wearing
put us?
modern clothes.
Why did you put us in the most obvious place?
Oh, hang on. Were we only supposed to knock them out? Oh, I killed my guy. Oh, no. I killed...
Wait, what? Who's doing what in the band?
Oh, tambourine player over here. And I just killed him with it.
I just thought we were all shoop whopping.
We're all shoot wop. Who's playing the music?
It's all a cappella, baby.
Oh
We
no,
didn't have music in the 40s.
that's gonna be bad.
Yeah, we come back and we're like, we have Spotify on us. And we change the world.
We blow their fucking minds. I also had
We're
an
a lazy
almanac with
version.
me, so I'm winning big on all of the horse racing.
It's a super lazy version of yesterday. We're in a reality where no one's heard Kanye West before, and we just played into a microphone.
I think at the end of
Yeah,
this
this is us.
we just announced we are the greatest artists of all time. Okay.
You might not like it, but your kids are going to love it. Probably great grandkids.
Great,
Anyway.
yeah, probably.
But Korzik goes on to say, after mentioning that she won the Camp Cutie of Camp Cook,
Yeah.
Korzik goes on to say that she was emotionally vulnerable and desperate for a permanent relationship sealed in marriage.
Oh, you don't say she had daddy issues, huh?
Yeah. Word spread that, abandoned by him once and then basically booted out of his
Yeah, your dad's a dick.
Cleo. He's no Cleo Bachelor of the Year, that's for sure.
Absolutely not.
Although he's a bachelor again. Word spread that Elizabeth was not an easy girl. This is still Korzik's words, which kept her at home instead of on dates most nights. She became uncomfortable at Camp Cook and left to stay with a girlfriend who lived near Santa Barbara.
She was uncomfortable there.
It sounds like, yeah, which makes it sound like this Camp Cutie, Camp Cook thing maybe. Yeah, I don't know. It just sounds like it's all a bit gross. But I mean,
Yeah.
this is also what I mean. Everyone's tells this story slightly differently. Some people paint her as, what's the woman version of a womanizer? Like she's like out there and she's playing the field sort of thing. A manonizer?
Sure. Man-eater.
Oh, I was gonna
She's
say.
a man-eater.
Yeah. I was gonna get real soy boyish and go, yeah, interesting that there's not a word, but it totally is.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so everyone tells this story sort of differently, but Korzik makes it sound more like she was sort of.
Is it your version of the Aristocrats?
Yeah, everyone's got their way of telling the aristocrats bit, and everyone's got their way of telling. Very similar, Dave. Beautiful analogy. I'm so sorry that he's
I don't
doing
get
this,
it.
listeners. It's just anyway. Watch the Aristocrats movie. That's this joke that people tell differently, and in that movie they all tell it in a different way. But it's
I was thinking of the Aristocats.
I did say Aristocrats. And I was like, really hope no one picks up on that.
And I was like, fuck, I don't remember that one.
everyone tells the
I remember those
story of
weird
the
Siamese
Aristocats
cats.
slightly differently, but they all involve scat, which you love.
No,
I know
I
you
don't
love
know what
ska.
scat is. I love ska.
Any first-time listeners are going to be I'm so baffled by what this show is.
Well, I'll summarize it for you.
Someone is listening to this on YouTube right now, typing an angry comment.
I reckon they've at least hit, if they're still there, they're onto their second or third comment by now.
So she's living with a friend near Santa Barbara, and it's around this time that she had her brush with the law that resulted in the second set of her prints being taken. She was with a group. So I said she was caught underage drinking. This is the big crime she committed. She was with a group of friends who were getting a bit rowdy at a restaurant. She wasn't necessarily, but she was in a group that was. The restaurant called the cops, and when they arrived, Short was booked for being underage in a licensed premises. They took her prints but never charged her. I don't think. Sounds like she wasn't drinking or anything. She was just there at a restaurant that happened to be licensed. So, but anyway, that's that. I guess in a way it's good that her prints were on file because she was able to be quickly identified. She was sent back to Medford, by those cops back on the East Coast, but soon went to stay with relatives in Florida. There she met a man named Lieutenant Gordon Fickling of the U.S. Air Force and fell in love. I also read that she met him in California. Even these sort of details, total opposite sides of the country. It was looking like they were moving towards marriage, but then Fickling got sent off to the war in Europe, leaving Short heartbroken. On top of that, her career wasn't taking off as she'd hoped, but she didn't let the setbacks hold her back as she continued to book modelling jobs and other bits and pieces without getting a big break that she was after. She also continued to date, mainly servicemen, and she started getting serious with a man named Major Matt Gordon, who was a decorated Air Force officer.
Major Gordon.
Major Gordon. I got a Major Gordon.
I've got a Gordon Fickling.
Oh, they both got Gordon.
I would have thought you would have said Major Matt.
I got a Major Matt. You got a Major Gordon in your pants?
No.
No, I certainly do not. It's the weirdest question I've ever
How
heard.
dare you?
They were getting serious when he was deployed to India.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, I know. But via letter, Gordon proposed to Short and she accepted. They were engaged to be married on his return.
Can I just say, for him, you hit send on that letter. Or you send that letter, as they actually do.
You're such a modern man.
Send. Fuck you.
You don't have to take...
You are looking at a magazine, fucking double.
Yeah, I'm zooming on family
You're
photos.
pinching in on them, trying to
wanker.
zoom out.
I'm just thinking of, obviously a proposal is a very nerve-wracking moment for any person. But if it's 3 weeks there, you've got to wait for her to reply. If she gets it, will she reply? It takes 4 weeks to come back. That whole time, all you can think about is, what's she going to say?
That is wild.
And on the woman's perspective, was there a ring in that envelope?
Yeah.
Where's my bling?
If you liked it, you should have put a ring in that envelope.
Yeah, honestly, that is outrageous. At least in a modern day, a placeholder ring, like something just cheap, just for the event, and then you go and buy a proper ring together.
Is that what people do?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do whatever you like.
Brownlow medalist, which is the highest football individual honour, Adam Cooney, proposed to his girlfriend with a burger ring.
And she said yes, so that tells you a little bit about her too.
Wow. Cooney.
No, that's nice. Whatever. As long as they went and bought a ring afterwards. I just hope she's not still wearing a burger ring. That's all.
I actually would love that.
The Simpsons.
That
Homer,
can't be hygienic.
Didn't Homer propose with an onion ring?
Yeah, and it's really,
burns.
really hard.
Can I take it off now? That's my Marge. We keep stopping halfway through a paragraph when it goes from light to sad. So they were engaged to marry on his return. Unfortunately, though, on August the 10th, 1945, as the war was coming to an end, that's within weeks, isn't it, Dave? He was killed in action.
Oh, no.
Short was proving very unlucky in life and in love. Isn't that, oh my God, it's like her, just such a every step of the way, her story is so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
After a period of mourning.
I feel like it's going to get better for her soon.
Oh, no, Bob, remember what the episode's called.
Was that?
Wait, actually, you've already heard about how it
The
ends.
opening paragraph was, Lady and Baby found a woman ripped in two.
Yeah, but surely something good will happen in between, you know?
Well, it gets better before it gets worse.
Matt, I'm trying to keep it long.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, remember the mini golf stock market crash? That's so stupid.
The next sentence he went missing. Every time.
The next sentence we thought he jumped off a bridge to his death. Oh, God.
After a period of mourning, Short started to get her life back on track by contacting her old Californian friends. She decided to head back to LA to continue to pursue her Hollywood dream. While there, she was couch surfing at friends' places for a while before deciding to take a bus leaving LA for San Diego on December the 8th, 1946. While in San Diego, Short saw a show at the Aztec Theatre. After the show, she was found sleeping in her chair by a young woman named Dorothy French, who worked there. The two became friends, and French offered Short a place to stay at her parents' house.
That's nice.
Though it was only meant to be for a few nights, she ended up staying for over a month. While staying with the French family, Short partied in the evenings and one night met a salesman named Robert Manley. Despite Manley having a pregnant wife at home in LA, he began spending a lot of time with Short. Though he later said despite being attracted to her, they were not romantically involved.
They were definitely romantically involved.
He swore that to police after, her...
Yeah, of course, when she was found murdered and people found a connection between the two of them and his pregnant wife could have found out, of course he said they were romantically
I did
involved.
not have sexual relations with that woman.
Of course I didn't. No, we were just good friends. I definitely didn't have sex with her. What? You have DNA Oh, okay, well. You know, like, of course he didn't. Wink, wink.
Right. Yeah, no, that does sound... I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, but you do sound like you have a case there.
Yeah, I'm quite confident that they were intimate.
Okay. Telling each other secrets.
Yeah.
Whispering sweet nothings.
Holding hands.
Okay. Didn't know it went that far.
The height
Third base.
of intimacy.
First base, hand on shoulder.
Yeah.
Second base, elbow touching elbow.
Oh.
Third base,
chills.
hand on hand.
Oh my God,
action.
Matt, please.
Sorry, I'll have to put this as an R-rated episode. Probably should definitely do
What's
that
a
anyway.
home run?
A home run? That's
Yeah.
when the batter hits it out of the stand. Sort of off topic, but... So they were seeing each other on and off. This is Manley and Short.
As friends.
As friends.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Let's call this friendship up for a couple of weeks.
Over the period of a few weeks in San Diego before Short asked him for a ride back to LA. On January the 8th, 1947, a month after she'd left LA, Manley drove her back, where he paid for a hotel room for her for the night.
Oh, just for her.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't stay.
No, he did.
Oh, okay.
Separate rooms. Separate beds.
No, apparently, according to the Corsic webpage, when the two of them returned to the hotel, they went out partying. Then when they returned to the hotel, he slept on the bed, she slept in a chair. So he was a gentleman.
But she did like sleeping in chairs.
I mean, he did pay for the hotel room as
Sure,
well.
but you can also just sleep in a bed.
Yeah,
Jess, you were the one saying before that they can't just sleep next to
but
each
also
other.
this is him telling the story. So,
Yeah.
very possibly they shared the bed and he goes, oh, no, I made her sleep on the chair. Don't worry about that. All above board.
But then everyone looks at him like, you're an arsehole. He's like, oh, I should have put myself in the
Why didn't
chair.
I put myself in the
I
chair?
slept in the chair. Oh, crap. I slept in the bath.
No one slept in the bed.
We decided that if I can't have it, then you can't have it. We both said that. Then I said jinx and we went to bed. I was
Not
in the
bed.
By that I mean I went to bath.
Yeah, I went to bath. She went to chair.
That's it. I'm going to chair. She slammed the door.
The door to the chair.
She locked herself in the chair. I was banging on that chair all night.
Yeah, he
me
was.
in.
He was banging
Let
on
me in
that chair all night.
Oh.
Sounds like no one got any sleep that night.
From arguing.
It's hard to sleep in a chair. Short told Manley she was heading back to Medford, but before she did, she had to meet her sister at the Biltmore Hotel in Hollywood. This is the next day. Manley had a meeting that morning, but afterwards he drove her there, dropped her off. He had another appointment to make. He's a salesman or whatever. So he did not wait for Short's sister to arrive. As he was leaving, Manley saw Short in the hotel lobby making a phone call. Manley, along with the hotel walkers...
The hotel walkers. All hotels have a small team of walkers. And what the walkers do
Yeah.
is they obviously pair up.
I've got a font size 18.
Have you had your eyes checked lately?
I have, and they said, yeah, I can read the letters on a board. I guess
Okay.
I just can't put them together and say the word.
Try again.
How do you spell walkers? W-O-R-K.
Workers.
Manley, along with the hotel workers, are the last known people to see Elizabeth Short. 6 days later, her body was found by Betty Bersinger on the morning of January 15th, 1947. The investigation. Responding to Betty Bersinger's call were officers Frank Perkins and Will Fitzgerald. They were horrified at what they saw at the crime scene and immediately called for backup.
I'm sorry. Are you seriously just going to brush over Perkins?
I
We're done
thought
with that?
I hit Perkins hard.
And he... oh, God.
The word Perkins.
I thought she slept in a chair.
Wait, wait, you think...
Yeah. You took that. Let's take that out of context.
Oh, no. Yeah, so...
There's someone
Frank
called
Perkins is a great name.
Yeah.
Is Perkins relatively common?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very common English
So,
name.
not related then.
Nah, I don't have a Frank. Oh, do I have a Frank?
Any
Probably
American?
somewhere.
Do you have an American branch?
Nah. Oh, no. I don't think so. We've been in Australia for like 5 or 6 generations. So, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Maybe before that, the branch somewhere
Possibly.
back on the branch.
But I don't know.
According to Korzik, the Los Angeles Police Department noted that Short's body seemed to have been posed, lying on her back with her arms raised over her shoulders. There were cuts and abrasions across her body, and her mouth had been sliced to extend her smile from ear to ear. Investigators believed she had been tied down and tortured for several days due to the rope marks on her wrists, ankles, and neck. Her naked body had been cleanly sliced in half just above her waist. So this is something that I've seen a bit inconsistent as well. How much, like the torture side of things. I just read before, I think this was even on the Wikipedia page, it said that that's a misnomer, that she was tortured. There was a lot of torture. So I don't know 100% what's accurate with that, unfortunately. And but I did read that quite a bit as well. But apparently, just even at the time, the newspapers were so inconsistent with how they told the story. Even like way back then, it's always been told in varying ways on all sorts of aspects of it. Apparently, the torture thing came out in the papers at the time, and the police didn't correct it because they were happy it was getting attention.
Yeah, right.
And they were happy for people to not know what had actually happened necessarily because it was, that confuses an investigation. But it was also a really weird relationship between the police and the media, which I'll talk about soon anyway. But yeah, this case they were kind of almost working together, but I'll talk about that soon.
It's the thing that I keep thinking about, and I don't even want to say it out loud and think about it more, but I just can't understand what you could use to cut a body in half.
Right.
I had that same thought.
Yeah,
and then
right?
I was like, I don't want to ask.
Yeah.
But also, you
How?
said clean in half.
Yeah.
What? I mean,
How?
what a samurai sword is the first thing I thought of.
What? Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, it's something that I'll talk about in a bit is police thought, because it was in the perfect spot and it is quite a hard thing to do. People were thinking surgeons and someone with a medical history.
Right. I would have even thought like industrial
Like a saw or
equipment.
something.
Yeah,
But
maybe.
I think it was done in a way where it was in this spot that, anyway.
Wow.
Detective Lieutenant Jesse Haskins
So there's a Jesse as well.
There's a Jesse. And I think he was on the scene finding it. He describes the scene like this. There was a tire track right up against the curbing, and there was what appeared to be a possible bloody heel mark in this tire mark. On the curbing, which is very low, there was one spot of blood, and there was an empty paper cement sack lying in the driveway, and it also had a spot of blood on it. It had been brought there from some other location. The body was clean and appeared to have been washed. 2 senior detectives were assigned to the case, Detective Sergeant Harry Hansen and Detective Finnis Brown. By the time they had arrived on scene, it was overrun by a media pack as well as civilian onlookers. Seeing that the crime scene and the possible evidence was being disturbed, Hansen ordered everyone to clear the fuck out. I reckon he would have said it like that too, the way it reads. To leave the area to allow the detectives to do their goddamn job of investigating the case. I reckon I would have said it all like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're goddamn right, I'm out of order.
This is the coroner's report, or from the coroner's report. Short's body was sent to the coroner's office. Their autopsy revealed many cuts and lacerations to her face and body. According to Korzik, most of the damage done seemed to have been post-mortem, including the severing of the victim's body at her waist, which is, slightly reassuring. It was done after she died. The official cause of death was hemorrhage and shock due to concussion of the brain and lacerations to the face. So, I mean, you can only hope that she was knocked. It happened quickly.
Yes.
The media's involvement, like I was saying, was quite strange. But it was a kind of symbiotic relationship between the LAPD and the media, in particular the newspaper, the Herald Express. The owner of the paper, William Randolph Hearst, had many top investigative journalists uncovering leads on the case, and he made a deal with the cops, apparently, that he'd share the information they found as long as they were granted some exclusives from the LAPD. Isn't that weird? Like, the cops are going, yeah, we'll give this newspaper the scoops. According to Korzik, LAPD Captain Donahue was not especially happy with these terms, but he was desperate for information on the case and took the offer. Apparently, Hearst assigned reporter Wayne Sutton to locate Phoebe Short, which is Elizabeth's mother. He found her in her home in Medford, Massachusetts, and was supposed to give her the news of her daughter's death, which sounds a bit stranger in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Why is a reporter from California the one with the job of going over? And it seems a bit weird to me. Surely the local cops should have done it. But anyhow, he didn't do it anyway. Instead, Korzik says, Sutton knew he needed to obtain information about Elizabeth Short first. Her mother would likely be too shaken up to tell him information on Elizabeth if he had initially broken the horrible news to her. So instead, Sutton lied, saying that her daughter had won a beauty contest in LA as a ruse to extract information. Korzik continues saying, Phoebe loved to talk about her beautiful daughter and was willing to tell Sutton everything he wanted to know. Once he had received this information, Sutton's boss instructed him to tell Phoebe the brutal truth.
You piece of shit.
That's really bad. It's just like, nah.
Yeah.
By the way, not a beauty contest. She was brutally murdered.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, so it's so fucked up. But when he eventually did tell her the truth, apparently she didn't believe him, and only then did the LAPD contact local Medford police to get them to go around and confirm it to her. Why they didn't do that in the first place?
Yeah, why is a reporter having... Yeah, that's awful.
Seems just bizarre.
And so awful and unethical.
Yeah.
That's yuck.
Yeah, don't the journalists take the Hippocratic Oath? The way the media...
Yes, Karl Stefanovic took the Hippocratic Oath.
What is the Hippocratic? That's the medical one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The way the media reported on the case was often pretty gross, referring to her, like I said before, as attractive, or the attractive victim in one article.
Yuck.
And incorrectly reporting on how revealing the clothes she was wearing were in the final days, as if that was an important factor in the murder.
It is a lot more tragic when a good-looking person dies brutally, don't you think?
Oh.
You know, if she was an uggo,
Yeah.
I'd go, oh, that's unfortunate.
That's true.
But now that I know she's attractive, I'm way more invested.
Quite a loss.
Yeah. I'm starting some sort of fundraising campaign because that beautiful woman died.
Yes. But they were also kind of saying she was wearing revealing clothes, so
yeah,
it was...
she was asking for it.
I don't know if it was quite that, but it was somewhere in that world.
Yeah.
The BBC writes that the Examiner newspaper added complete fabrications to the Black Dahlia story, exchanging in their reporting the suit Short had been seen wearing for a tight skirt and blouse and implying sexual misadventures. One paper wrote at the time, authorities today were searching into the love life of 22-year-old Elizabeth Short, victim of the werewolf murder, whose romances had changed her, according to friends, from an innocent girl to a man-crazy delinquent known as the Black Dahlia.
Oh, what?
Yeah, isn't it? I always find it funny to you go back to old media reports and stuff. You know, people talk about now about the media. It's trash now. It's not. There's no integrity like it used to be. It's like I think it was always there was always trashy newspapers.
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah.
like forever there were trashy newspapers.
Yeah. As soon as
There
got
was always
good
violence and
there was always a trashy one as
Yeah,
well.
it's like nostalgia. Every generation, nostalgia makes everyone think. When I was a kid, we all had integrity. Everyone was polite to adults. There was no violence. You know, we didn't carry knives. We just shook each other's hands and said, "You're all right, mate." You know, it's bizarre. Nostalgia is one of the weirdest phenomenons, I reckon. Phenomenon. Anyway,
Anemone.
anemone. According to an article in The Guardian, the day after Short's body was found, the Los Angeles Examiner sold more copies than it had any other day, except when it announced the Allied victory in the Second World War.
Whoa.
Sales were fueled by the tawdry way the tabloid press covered Short, as a street-walking, sexualized young thing. As a childhood friend later recalled, it was just horrible the way she was portrayed. The sensationalized portrait has endured over time. Her murder has been memorialized in movies like The Black Dahlia starring Scarlett Johansson a few years ago, which I don't recall.
No, me either.
It's like it's definitely been. I mean, talked about how it was mentioned in Spider-Man this year as well. There's a famous heavy metal band called the Black Dahlia Murder, and it's like inspired so many things. There's also an episode of American Horror Story based on it. For whatever reason, maybe because it was in Hollywood and there was this name that people can attach it to, and it is a mystery, and there's so many different suspects and all these different things.
And I suppose how gruesome it is too.
Yes. The investigators believe the killer was either a stranger to Short before he killed her, perhaps when hitchhiking, and she just got in the wrong car. Apparently that was pretty common back then, and she did a bit of hitchhiking, so that was one theory. Otherwise, obviously, she already knew him. That were the two options.
So she knew him or she didn't?
Yeah.
God,
And
criminal,
the cops reckon it was one of the two.
criminal profiling was
Right.
really advanced back then.
Yeah.
The other option, I guess, is that she kind of knew him a bit.
An acquaintance.
Yeah.
Statistically, it's more likely to be an acquaintance.
Yeah.
You know?
The police were leaning towards the she knew him option.
Do you ever really know someone, though?
That's true. That's a good point.
That was a question that they talked about when police were like, yeah, she may have known him, but do you ever really know someone?
Yeah, and then they sat down and tried to connect with one another.
Oh, that's nice.
You know, because if something happened to one of you, and they'd say, you know, you knew him. What was he like? I'll be like, well, I mean, I knew one side of him, sure.
Is it ironic that the Black Dahlia murder brought people together?
That was weird because he did a hand movement of.
Probably past the line, that
Yeah,
one.
you're an edgy comic.
You should open with that.
I said that last night. I'm trying this new bit out, and it is making audiences go, oh, and I'm like, have I become an edgy comic? How did that happen?
Great. Good for you.
The police believed that the way the murder took place and how her body was left on display showed signs of it being a personal vendetta. They also believed that due to the surgical nature of Short's injuries, the killer could have had medical training, like I mentioned before. On the 23rd of January 1947, a man claiming to be the killer phoned the Examiner newspaper. Depending on the source, he called either to tell them he didn't like how the story had been reported in the papers or to congratulate the editor on his great coverage.
Right. So again, he either liked it or he didn't like it. Those are the two options.
No, yeah.
I either knew her or I didn't know her. We knew it.
It's something that I find really strange about any of these serial killers. Like, so often they do contact the media or the police, or they, you know, like even the Golden State Killer would write letters, or he would.
It's an attention thing.
Yeah, but it's like, you got away with it. Shut up. You know?
Right.
Stop bringing attention to yourself.
It's almost like their minds don't work like ours.
Yeah, it is almost like that.
But do we think that is actually the killer or just a prank call?
It seems like, very well could have been. He said he'd mail some of Short's belongings to the paper to prove it was really him. And sure enough, a package was received that included Short's birth certificate, as well as photos and an address book.
Why did he have her birth certificate?
Well, because she was sort of living a nomadic life. She would have had a lot of that stuff on her. I'm sort of guessing.
That's a good point, because I don't have that. My mum has that.
Right.
Okay, Mum, I don't trust me to keep it safe.
Yeah.
I trust Mum to keep it safe.
Well, I'd trust your mum to keep it safe.
Yeah,
for
she's
sure.
got yours too.
Yeah.
Can I give her mine?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
It's better to have all three in one place. Wouldn't you
Yeah.
agree?
Yeah.
We
In a
s-
flammable box.
At my mum's house.
Yeah. In the bushfire zone on the
Yeah.
edge of Melbourne.
Yeah, perfect.
The address book that was sent in had the name Mark Hansen embossed on the cover. Hansen was a nightclub and theatre owner, and Short knew and had stayed at his place. This apparently led to him becoming a prime suspect. Seems like it would have been a weird mistake to me.
Yeah,
Sending
sending
a
your
home diary.
own
Yeah.
address book.
But they were like, well, this is a big lead. We got to chase it down.
Yes, he finally slipped up.
Imagine not having your phone to store phone numbers in. So you just have an address book that you carry around.
Yeah, Rolodex.
It really has just, eliminated all the things you had to carry. Calculator,
Encyclopedia Britannica.
compass,
Yep.
Condom.
Dave,
Dave,
what?
I've got a very advanced phone.
If you keep your phone next to your junk long enough, it should stop pregnancy.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm banking on.
Wank banking.
Don't worry, baby. I've owned an iPhone for 8 years.
The package had been washed with gasoline in a similar way to Short's body, further convincing the police that the package had been sent by the killer.
What do you mean washed? How do you... Okay.
I guess, yeah, it's sort of like... it's.
Because I'm thinking like an envelope. So that's just... If you wash that with gasoline...
Well, it's the bits in the package, the
Yeah.
books and that sort of stuff,
Just
I think.
wiped them all down.
Yeah, I guess wiped down with gasoline. The gasoline wasn't able to clean off all the prints, though, and some partial prints were collected and sent off to the FBI to analyse. But unfortunately, were compromised en route and unable to be analysed.
There's a mole in the police.
Yeah, what do you mean that compromise on route? What happened?
Well, that's one that...
Someone got him out and just started poking
I'm
him.
not even 100% sure if that happened or not, but
Right.
it
yeah,
was
okay.
written in a couple of different places.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a wild idea if they were they were
Yeah.
close to having great evidence and it just disappeared.
Mm.
Oh, that would be so
Infuriating.
infuriating. The same day the package was received, one of Short's shoes and her handbag were recovered from a garbage bin within a few miles of where her body was found. More letters arrived at various LA newspapers' offices with messages formed from magazine cutouts. They included messages such as, "I will give up in Dahlia killing if I get 10 years. Don't try to find me."
What does that mean?
Oh, if you agree to just give me 10 years jail, I think I'll come clean.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Why would you set it at 10? I'd be like, I'll do 6 months.
Good behaviour bond.
Yeah. Just find me. Why would you set yourself 10 years?
Well, I guess he knows that that's a pretty good deal.
Oh, it's a great deal.
I wonder if California
But start
in the 40s,
low and barter.
Build up to the 10. Maybe that's what he thought he was doing.
Oh, wow.
There seems to be differing opinions on nearly all aspects of the case, including the authenticity of some of the letters. Though Korzik writes, these letters seemed to be from the murderer, and it seemed as if he were trying to taunt the LAPD detectives. His messages were often convoluted and confusing, causing the detectives to spend much time trying to decipher them. Everything sent to the LAPD, including the letters, Elizabeth Short's security card and photographs, had been rinsed with gasoline, so the forensic examiners were unable to lift any fingerprints off the evidence. Many of the letters also seemed to give false information based on the way the investigators deciphered them, and were not very helpful in solving the Black Dahlia case. I think it sounds like, because I saw other people dispute that most of those letters were legit, apart from that first package, which is hard to dispute because it was her birth certificate.
Yeah.
There was a note found in a man's clothes where it looked like a suicide note where he owned up to the murder, but body was never found, never identified. There was just a pile of clothes. And I don't think people think that was legit either. A lot of people came forward to claim that they did it in this case as well, which is quite strange.
Why?
I'm not fully sure. There was a big reward, so I was thinking, was it like going, I'll take the rap so that my family can become rich? I don't know. I'm not sure. That's the conclusion I jumped to, but I don't know if that necessarily makes sense.
I reckon I'd turn to gambling rather than... Because I love my family, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love gambling.
I would do just about anything.
Gamble.
List
goes on.
But probably further down that list would be claim a murder I didn't do.
Well, to be honest, that's just the ultimate gamble, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's if you're a real gambler, you'd admit to a murder you didn't
And
do.
I could get so much reading done in prison.
Back yourself.
I could get a lot of reading and I could just focus on exercise, you know?
Oh, yeah. Exercise yard. I always think prisoners always seem buff in the movies.
Yeah.
People spend so much on gyms.
I spend so much
Just do
on
some
gyms.
hard time, then you'll get hard abs.
Yeah.
That's why they call it hard time.
Because I'm hard the whole time.
Is
In
that
my
a Gordon
abs.
in your pocket?
No, it's my abs. I've got abs all the way down.
Is that a Gordon in your pocket? I took out the one word that made that nearly a thing. Major. Is that a Gordon in your pocket? Oh, boy.
Oh, so I've got a big Gordon right now.
You think Gordon kind of works? You've got a raging Gordon.
So I'm going to call it from now on.
Yeah, and people who came forward and were found to be, like, a lot of them were ruled out straight away. It's like, no, you definitely couldn't have done it. And then they were charged with obstructing the course of justice and stuff like
So
that.
it is a gamble.
That is
You're
a
right,
gamble,
Dave.
yeah.
That's a real gamble.
I did this murder. No, you didn't. Oh, fuck. But, hey, you're still in trouble. Don't worry.
This is the jail full of people that claim to be the Black Dahlia killer. No, I did it. No, I did it. I did it.
That's the Good Will Hunting. No, the other Robin Williams school story movie where they all stood on their desks.
Goodwill Hunting.
Oh, is that what it was?
No.
Dead Poets Society. That's the scene at the end? I killed. A handwritten letter was received by the examiner on January 26, reading, "Here it is. Turning in Wednesday, January 29, 10 a.m. Had my fun at police. Black Dahlia Avenger." On January 29th, the police waited at the location the letter listed, but the killer did not show up. Later that day, the examiner received a cut and paste letter reading, "Have changed my mind. You would not give me a square deal. Dahlia killing was justified." That never led anywhere, but
Good communicator, though.
yeah.
Keeps checking in, you know?
Yeah.
That's all right.
There were, so these are all, that old school cutout of magazines
Yeah.
letters. So let's go through some of the suspects. I'm only going through a few of the key ones. There are so many, a wild amount.
Wild, yeah.
And there still are. People, are still talking about this all the time. There's so many different suspects out there. By mid-1947, the police had eliminated a list of 75 suspects, and by the end of 1948, they had looked into a total of 192 suspects. Here are a few of the key ones. Also, those numbers range. I've seen numbers like, 1,000 people.
That's so many.
Mark Hansen,
Yep.
the key suspect we spoke about before, the club and theatre owner whose name was embossed on the address book. Short stayed at his home on numerous occasions in 1946, and according to Short's friend Ann Toth, Hansen had his sexual advances rejected by Short. Short called Hansen on January the 8th, 1947, when she was still in San Diego, making him one of the last people she spoke to before she disappeared. When he was questioned about the address book, Hansen told the LAPD that it was his, but he gifted it to Short unused, which makes sense to me. Like the idea that he sent in his own book to
Yeah.
me just does not add up at all.
But also a used address book.
Yeah, but I'm just like, maybe I'm missing something there. He remained a prime suspect throughout the investigation, though he had no criminal record and charges were never brought against him. Many still believe him to be the man, but he died of natural causes in 1964. Dr. Patrick O'Reilly was another who was a suspect at the time and remains so. A lot of people still think he did it. So there's different suspects. There were some that were right in the gun at the time and not so much anymore, and some that weren't really thought about then, but people speculate about now. Dr. Patrick Riley has consistently been a suspect. The way Korzik writes about him, he sounds like he should be too.
Right.
This is from Korzik's writings again. O'Reilly was a medical doctor who had known Elizabeth Short through Mark Hansen. According to the Los Angeles District Attorney's files, O'Reilly was a close friend with Hansen and frequented that nightclub that Hansen owned around the time of the murder. Korzik goes on to say O'Reilly had been convicted of assault with a deadly weapon for taking his secretary to a motel and sadistically beating her almost to death, apparently for no other reason than to satisfy his sexual desires. That's all quoting from Korzik. This meant that O'Reilly had a history of violent crimes with sexual motivation. He goes on to say the files noted that O'Reilly's right pectoral had been surgically removed, which was similar to the mutilation present on Elizabeth Short's body. It should be noted that O'Reilly was once married to the daughter of one of the LAPD captains. There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
Why was his pectoral removed?
I'm not sure. I didn't look into that any further. That's the only place I think I saw that one other place. But, like that's a I've never heard of that. And
No.
I'm guessing them. I don't know if that means it was cancerous or you had some issue there. Robert Manley.
Tell me more
Robert
about this
Manley?
peck.
Robert Manley, another one of the suspects. He was the last man known to see Short alive. He
This
was
is the man who made her sleep in a chair.
Yes.
They were just friends, okay?
He was also a suspect at the time and one of the first to be taken in by the police, though he was released due to a solid alibi for January 14th and 15th, as well as for passing 2 separate lie detector tests, which are now sort of known to be fallible, right? So it's funny that he was ruled out in a large part on those lie detector tests at the time. It was nearly a week, and he had alibis for 2 days. So I don't know if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The lie detector test. So I don't know.
I always just think of Morris as like taking the lie detector test. If you excuse me, I've got to go. I've got a hot date. Dinner with a friend. Dinner alone. Just keeps getting worse.
It's not even dinner in the end, right?
Yeah, it's like ogling the women in the Sears catalogue.
And it's not even Sears or something.
No,
Yeah.
I can't remember but then,
Target catalog.
Adam deserved this kind of shoddy treatment. Things.
That is a great. I forgot about that. That's a great Simpsons bit. Maybe the most talked about suspect though is Dr. George Hoddle. A lot of this is because of a modern day campaign for him to be proven guilty of the murder, being undertaken by an ex-LAPD detective named Steve Hoddle. No coincidence that their name's the same. It's his son.
Oh, so the doctor's son.
The doctor's son is like basically dedicating his life now to proving that his dad did it.
Speak about daddy issues.
Yeah, all right.
Dad didn't play enough baseball with you, hey?
He was on one of these.
Yeah. And I'm gonna make him look like a killer.
Yeah, I don't think he was a great dad. Steve Hoddle was interviewed.
So imagine if he was a great dad.
Yeah. Oh.
And he can't believe that his son, mate, I couldn't have done more for you, and now you're trying to say that I killed this person. What the fuck?
But apparently, when he first heard that his dad was a suspect, he was at first trying to prove he didn't do it, and he was like, "Oh, actually, I think maybe he did." And then he became convinced. And
Whoa.
so Steve Hoddle was interviewed by the Guardian newspaper in 2016 in an article titled, "I know who killed the Black Dahlia, my own father." It's a pretty bold headline.
Yeah, there's no real pullback and reveal there, is it? Dad? There's none of that in that article.
No.
They're really selling it. And I get it. Like, that's a good headline, but,
Hoddle has also written books on the subject, multiple books, though LA Times columnist Steve Lopez is unconvinced, telling The Guardian, when I found out what Hoddle's theory was, it struck me as pretty spectacular. An LAPD detective solves one of the most notorious unsolved murders in LA history, and the murderer is his father. But I was struck in reading the book by the fact that Hoddle never sealed the deal, wrote Lopez. I thought he offered mostly circumstantial evidence, then acted as if the case was closed. And I think...
Case closed? I thought that was just a figure of speech.
I watched an episode of this, one of these old sort of TV shows I'm talking about. It was called Cold Case Files, and the host was the best. He starts out he's driving through the streets of Hollywood at night, and he goes, I lived around this area for 2 or 3 years back in the 70s.
2 or 3 years.
Something like that. It was a real great connection to the area.
I lived here for 35 years. I lived here for a couple of months one time, visiting a friend.
He had a great voice. You know, that deep old American journalist voice. It was fantastic. So he was interviewed quite a bit on this episode, and it was all around the Black Dahlia case. The first thing that made him suspect his father was finding photos of a woman who looked like Short in a photo album belonging to his father. They showed these photos on the show, and to my untrained eye, it didn't quite look like the same person. He was fully convinced.
If you squint your eyes, you You can kind of see
Like,
his
it
face.
definitely looks similar, but, you know, like, different kind, like, you
like it
know,
was-
the nose is a bit different.
Was it
And,
just a woman?
and he's like, see this
They're all
dot,
the same.
this dot here on her forehead that lines up? It's like, yeah, but what about the nose being different?
Yeah, but the dot. Noses change.
Dots are
don't.
forever.
But and he went and got people to analyze it, and some people said that it was a match, and others said it was inconclusive. He also said some of the handwriting in the letters, which aren't even proven to be actually from him, said that it was the same as the handwriting of his father, and he had samples of both. Had those tested as well. And again, the verdicts were differing, but sort of from unsubstantiated to maybe.
Right. No one was like, yes.
Yeah, I don't think anyone was really bang on.
Right.
Someone's like, it could be. But
Yeah, that's why I brought it to you, because it could be.
But also mentioned on the show, I feel like I wouldn't worry about any of that stuff, though. Because it's like, that stuff doesn't seem like it's proving anything. This next stuff feels full on. And this is also mentioned on the show and in the Guardian article. There are transcripts from 1950 when the police bugged George Hoddle's home, the dad, from the Guardian. Most of the transcript is dull. Hoddle has sex. He berates his secretary. He talks about money problems. But on 19th of February 1950, there's a haunting exchange. 8:25 p.m. Woman screamed. Woman screamed again. It should be noted, the woman not heard before the scream. This is it's written out in the transcript.
Yeah.
Later in the day, Hoddle talks to a confidant. This is quoting from the transcript again. Realized there was nothing I could do. Put a pillow over her head and cover her with a blanket. Get a taxi. Expired 12:59. They thought there was something fishy. Anyway, now they may have figured it out. Killed her. So that feels like, why wasn't someone, I don't know. Anyway, the surveillance continues routinely, but for one telling moment. And this is again from the transcript. Supposing I did kill the Black Dahlia.
Okay.
Is he talking to himself in the mirror?
That one feels a little more, yeah.
Supposing I
little more
did
clear.
kill the Black Dahlia. They couldn't prove it now. They can't talk to my secretary anymore because she's dead.
What
Whoa.
the fuck?
That's what I'm thinking. That's like, why is this even a mystery?
Well, did they arrest him for the murder of his
'Cause
secretary at least?
The screaming and stuff, that was Feb, right?
Yeah, but that I don't know if that was the secretary or someone else or he's, you know.
Yeah.
In this doco, they had his son had this another ex-cop with a dog who was trained to sniff out bodies, human remains, and went around his dad's old property, and the dog sniffed out, apparently, supposedly showed signs of smelling traces of old human remains.
That's gross.
But he wasn't arrested for that murder.
No.
Even though they had surveillance of him admitting that he killed someone.
Yeah, I don't get it. But it just feels like, yeah, that feels
She's
at
dead
least
now.
pretty noteworthy.
Yeah. You'd look into that, I reckon. Why is the secretary
But
dead?
I think they did. I think they looked into it and then dismissed it. So I mean, did they dismiss it like, was the tone not noted that he was joking around, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's dead. Dead tired. She's put in a lot of extra hours this week and will be paid accordingly.
I don't get it.
I'm a great boss. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Maybe they cut him off to make it, you know. It's like reality TV shows now where they always edit someone to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just like that.
Remember when I messaged you a couple of weeks ago saying I've just gone to bed after an epic night of writing reports? That's when I was going through all this stuff. It was making my brain throb. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, and that's not a good thing to be reading late at night either.
It did make all my senses feel out of whack.
Yeah.
It was very surreal feeling. I was so tired at the same time, but it just, some of these things aren't super fun to deep dive into.
Yeah. But it's what the Patreons
It's what-
wanted.
Number one. This is the one they
said,
wanted the
no,
most.
go there.
They thought we'd solve it. And we are.
And they thought, right.
We're close. I can feel it.
Yeah, so it seems like that's noteworthy stuff to me. Sort of like headline sort of stuff.
And is George alive at the time when his son's investigating
no,
him?
his dad's dead by this point.
Ah.
I think that's when he found the photos going through
Yeah, right.
like the deceased estate.
Sorry, I don't remember
boxes
if
sort
you'd
of
said
thing.
that or not.
I might not have known.
That's so weird.
Yeah, you'd love to go to him. Hey,
Just bring your friend over with a dog.
yeah.
What's that? What's he sniffing for? Nothing.
Do you mind leaving the dog in the
Treats?
backyard? Would love to, Dad, but we've just got to check all the rooms first.
Sorry, Dad. I'm just gonna dig up this concrete. Okay.
All right.
But yeah, anyway, it seems like many think Steve Hoddle's case against his father is a bit flimsy. Or this is in the words of ex-LAPD detective Brian Carr. He said, basically, if he ever took a case as weak as Hoddle's to a prosecutor, he would be, quote, laughed out of the office.
Shit.
So yeah, it's like, to me, I'm like, oh, this feels like it should really be investigated. I guess what they're saying is it was, and I just don't understand how those quotes from that transcript were.
Yeah, he
written off.
killed someone.
Yeah,
Even it might not have been the Black Dahlia, but he killed someone.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
look into that then. It could be a different case. That's all right.
Because like those transcripts were gotten because the cops were sus on him for doing bad
Yeah.
stuff. I don't even think they were looking at him for this case necessarily at the time. There were sort of like incest charges
Oh,
brought
Jesus.
against him, I think, which didn't hold up. But sound like that was sort of more legal loophole stuff, maybe. Yeah. It seems like, depending on who you read, they believe it was a different guy. Everyone is like, it's definitely this guy. This is my guy. It's definitely the killer. But, everyone's contradicting each other. And everyone's going, yeah. Oh, you're listening to this guy? He's a joke. His research is a joke. I'm laughing. And they're doing it to each other. It's a wild.
Oh, you read my research. I'm a joke. I'm a fucking joke. My wife left me because of this shit.
Sharon!
Sharon! Sharon! Oh, no, her name's Karen.
That's probably why she
Yeah,
left
I
me.
keep calling her Sharon.
It seems like possibly, though, the main suspect was a bellhop named Leslie Dillon. He had previously been a mortician's assistant, so he'd worked vaguely in this world where he might know how to cut up a cadaver sort of thing.
Packed a few asses in
When
his
do
time.
morticians have to cut up a body?
Yeah, I'd say that'd be rare. But they know how to... Yeah, I don't
They
know.
know how to put blush on your face.
Yeah, and cotton in your asshole. But not the other way round.
I guess it means he definitely knew how to... He wasn't worried about dead bodies.
He wasn't
Yeah,
squeamish,
right.
that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Yuck.
So that's, but you can't, not at all suggesting that morticians are... We're so lucky to have people who are willing to do those jobs, like we said in the Ass Packing episode back in episode 10, I think.
We talked about burial, cremation, or other, what they do to your body when you die.
Yeah. Some people still quote that as their favourite episode all the time.
It's my favourite still.
We've done 200 since.
No, literally.
And our 10th one was the peak for
We're
me.
still chasing our tail. That's not what that phrase means. After contracting... sorry about any of these me fluffing lines here, because I probably won't get them all out. But I'm sorry for that. After contacting LAPD psychiatrist Dr. J. Paul DeRiver about the Black Dahlia case, saying he had an interest in it after reading about it in a magazine. This is Leslie Dillon.
The bellhop.
Yeah. But he seemed to have intimate knowledge of the murder, and for this reason was pursued by the police. Unfortunately, though, in Korzek's words, he had been illegally detained and there had been a lack of concrete evidence tying him to the murder. Many believe Dillon committed the murder and would have been indicted not for the fact that the LAPD had followed proper protocol in his arrest. So they butchered it, according
Fuck's
to some.
sake.
There was I thought I'd written more about this, but it doesn't look like I did. There was DeRiver, I think it was. He was like pretty convinced it was him. He was talking to Dillon a lot, and the more they spoke, the more he was like, oh, I think Dillon actually, I think he might have done it. And he started talking about his friend. Dillon's like, I think my friend might have done it. And then DeRiver's like, I don't think this friend exists.
Right.
I don't think this guy has any.
And they tried to look into him. Eventually, it turned out the friend did exist, but his name was totally different. And yeah, it was all very messy. There's just all these different paths that look like very much like you read someone's take on it. You're like, oh, this is the guy.
Yeah.
But how many guys could it be? It's so frustrating that it's never going to be solved. It
Yeah.
just can't be solved now. There's just going to be a bunch of different people who are 100% sure it was someone,
Yeah.
but no one's ever going to be able to prove it. Of the suspects, there are apparently confessions from more than 50 different people. Some others say as many as 500 confessed.
Okay.
Wow.
It's definitely got a 5 in it.
Yeah. 5 and an O,
So
and maybe another O. Apparently, the LA District Attorney only considered 22 of these as viable. Still so
22 is so many.
many. One early confession came from a 29-year-old soldier, Joseph Dumais. A couple of weeks after the murder, he confessed, but investigators revealed that Dumais had been at his army barracks in New Jersey at the time of the murder and cleared him of any involvement. Despite this, he continued to claim he was the killer. And
Why?
he thought he blacked out and did it. But they're like, you didn't do it, but he was convinced he did. Isn't that wild?
That's so weird.
And I love the idea of, in my head, I think of movies and stuff of people being falsely accused and the cops are just so ready to go, oh, great. We'll put this on this person. There's some evidence, and it being like a nightmare scenario. But this proves that it's the opposite of that. People are going, it was me. And the cops are like, I don't reckon it was.
Nah.
In certain, that kind of scenario, the cops would be like, great, dust their hands off.
Yeah. Excellent.
Go to lunch.
We did it.
Yeah. But they're like, I don't know if you did, mate.
Yeah, prove that you're guilty.
I don't
mate.
understand why you would say you did.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, notoriety.
But fuck.
Yeah, it must. That's why I think maybe the money thing must have had something to do with it. It's like a modern day fortune. Or at the time, also a fortune.
Yeah.
Modern day fortune wasn't required. So many suspects, so many that I can't go through them all. Just quickly, though, interestingly, there are a few celebrity suspects named, though seemingly they were never taken too seriously.
The Hoff.
The Hoff was one.
He
was-
was quite
Really?
seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. Imagine
don't
he
say.
wasn't even quite born yet.
Then it
Oh,
turns
no,
out
would've
he was
been-
actually in Germany,
Yeah.
where he's massive.
Although there was a tie mark at the scene. What was Kit doing that night?
Isn't it amazing? He drove 2 iconic cars. Also, the Dune buggy from Baywatch. Maybe not quite. It didn't have a name, did it?
I'll be there.
A memory came up on my Facebook page a couple of weeks ago. I was in LA. Have I told this story before? How I tried to hire a convertible Mustang, and they go, "We're going to upgrade you." Sorry, there's no Mustang. We're going to upgrade you to a Nissan Maxima.
And you're like,
I'll have a word.
Yay.
We might even be able to get you a sunroof. I'm like, oh, it's not really what I'm. Anyway, eventually we got the Mustang, and there's this video on my private Facebook page of us driving down a highway from San Francisco to LA, top down with the Baywatch theme blasting or else sing along. Great memory. Wind in the hair.
But imagine if you'd done that in a Nissan.
Now that's badass.
Or a Hyundai, as they say.
I love how they say words over there. It's amazing. Adidas.
which would be completely normal to them.
Yeah.
Us saying Adidas, they'd be like, that's fucking stupid. But it's the other way around for us. You sound dumb.
Do they say Puma instead of Puma?
Puma.
That's not a Puma.
The most American man of all, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Kindergarten Cop. So the celebrity, as well as
Just got it. Because I was trying to think of other quotes from that movie. And I went through a couple of things. And then I was like, I don't know what I'll say.
What would you say?
I was going to say it's not a tumor. And that's what he was doing.
What do you think I was referencing when you laughed?
I just thought that's a bit that I've forgotten.
That sounds pretty funny. It's not a Puma.
I'm crying.
Who is your daddy and what does he puma?
What a beautiful insight.
It's so funny. You laughed quite a lot, and I was like, that's a pun, and it went quite well.
Oh, that is a pun.
That's a pun. I've changed tumor to puma.
Oh, that's made my stomach hurt. Oh, very good.
That's the second time in 2 days I've laughed like that. Yesterday I laughed because we went to KFC.
That is funny.
It's going to start again.
I need to know what happened.
I wanted chips, so we went to KFC and Aiden had to order the chips in the drive-thru, and he's terrible at, like, you just say, can I have a large and a regular chips, or a medium chips and a large chips, please?
So you go, yes, hi.
Yes, exactly.
How are you?
He goes, hi, if I was wondering if we could please get one large chips. And she went, yep, and is that all? He goes, no, can we also have, and I was just like, oh my God, hurry up.
You like wanted to repeat back to him every item?
Yeah, and I was crying in the passenger seat laughing so hard.
Is that it?
No, I will also have, not a puma. That's good stuff, Dave. Sorry, Matt.
How did we get there?
Let's talk death again.
We're talking about how they...
Oh, the celebrity suspects. And we got Hoffman.
off.
So, yeah,
We went to Kit.
to Nissan.
To
That was a
Schwarzenegger.
long way around. All right, a few more YouTube comments have just come up, I think.
Oh, who celebrities from the 40s? Who? Humphrey Bogart.
Folk singer Woody Guthrie.
Oh,
He's, one of the sort of legends of folk. And also Hollywood legend Orson Welles.
really?
Really?
And it feels like there's, you could build a narrative around it. But I'm not going to do that because it was dismissed pretty quickly. But there were sort of, if you read an article about it, you will go, oh, that you could believe it. But that's the thing about it as well.
Yeah.
Depending on who you read, I'm convinced by everyone.
Yeah.
So that's why mysteries are so
So
unsatisfying.
in your mind, everyone did it.
Yeah, I'll be reading about one person, I'm like, oh, this guy definitely did
Yeah.
it. No, hang on, this guy even more definitely did it. If I was a cop at the time, those jails would have been full, all from this one crime. Anyway, that brings me to the end of my report. It's obviously a super sad, brutal story. But it's wild that it's held the public's attention for so long.
And then it's kept the name of the Black Dahlia, because for some reason I thought, I didn't know much about it, but I thought it was like they didn't know who she was.
Yes, and that's why they
called it the Black Dahlia, but they knew who she was, so why not just refer to her by her name?
I know, and I had to, I went through and I refer to her by her name throughout, but most articles don't. They just say the Black Dahlia. So we know who she is.
Yeah, just use
Let's
her
give her a
name.
fucking name.
That's so strange. For some reason, I always thought it was like a Jane Doe, and they could never figure out who it was.
Yeah.
But they knew straight
That's what
away.
I assumed. Yeah, I did assume that too.
They knew straight away. That's so strange.
Do you have? Obviously, it's ridiculous to have an idea of who you think might have done it. But was there anything in there that made you think one more than the other?
It's because it's the same thing. It's like as soon as you talk about someone new, I forget the last one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was this guy.
Yeah.
The
Second
Patrick?
last doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one whose son's trying to go after him. It's just, I just feel like if he just needs to drop the circumstantial evidence stuff and go, just look at this transcript.
Yeah.
But then there's other people, like there's, 50 to 500 people who also said they did it. So I guess you can't.
Yeah, no, because I hear that and go, well, we've got him on tape.
Yeah.
He said he did it.
But then there's other people going in and say, I'll sign an affidavit.
Yeah, some
saying
people
I
that are
did
knocking on a police headquarters being like, yeah, I did it.
That's
it. Maybe
crazy.
that was just like, back then it was like their version of planking,
Right, yeah.
It was a
It
crazy.
was like an ice bucket challenge.
Yeah,
Crazy
modern
with-
craze at the time.
Hashtag I did it.
Yeah.
But crazy, and do we? I don't know. There's no explanation for why, but the crazy, brutal nature of the crime,
Well,
the chopping in half, that
I mean,
kind of stuff.
I thought I read it down. There was so many things. I'm like, I don't know how much of this I want to be
Yeah, it's
talking
fair.
about, but there was one. I like a psychologist or someone who was saying it seemed to him like it was someone who maybe was rejected by her in life, going, you're not rejecting me now. I'm punishing you for that. That was his sort of. He saw these signs of it being that kind of thing. But all of that's pretty.
It's just so fascinating. And she didn't exactly have the best life, did she?
No, 22.
Yeah.
Like the amount of like horrible, all these things. You go, that one thing would traumatize you for life.
For sure.
She had so many, like fiance's dying in war, father faking his death.
Yeah.
and then rejecting you when you.
She's like having to be shipped around the country because of health issues, even.
Yeah.
Any of these like that becomes this tiny thing. Oh, she had to live in a warmer climate because of her lung health.
Yeah.
She had to be sent away from her family.
Yeah.
Like just so many things. Kicked out of her, reuniting with her dad, and then being kicked out of home, basically. And
Being sent home by the police just because you were in a restaurant with alcohol.
Yeah, that's dumb.
just,
Just awful. And so you're right, so unsatisfying that we don't know. I want answers, god damn it.
Yes. Anyway, I don't know if any listeners have strong ideas about this. Definitely send us a tweet or whatever.
Put your ideas into a short tweet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that was it. You could send a long email, but then you'd have to read it, Bop. And I don't know if you want to be going through.
I'd happily forward that on to you. Yeah.
Great. But yeah, if you don't, you can follow us on social media. What a gross tie into social media. Actually, I'm going to bail on that.
Don't.
And remember, hashtag I did it.
So that is the end of that dark report, and also bring us the end of Blocktober.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate people, because I really only have heard her name from people suggesting it as a topic over the last 4 years or however long we've been doing the show. I'd never heard of it before then, but even back in the early days, I reckon people tweeted Black Dahlia to us as a suggestion. And then since we got the hat system, that form, which will be linked to. If you have suggestions for topics, you can click the link in the show description and give us those suggestions. Yes. Dave, we're about to do our Patreon section, but you were going to tell us about something. I forget what you wanted to talk
that's
about.
right. So one of our awards, this will be the 4th annual Christmas card that we are going to send out in December.
Is it 4?
Or is it number 3?
Yeah, no, it is
3.
number 4.
This is our 4th Christmas
Yeah.
card.
4?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, remember we did the one with the candy canes, another photo. Then last year we had
yeah.
some fantastic artwork. And again this year we have commissioned a fantastic artist.
Oh,
Yes.
It's another brilliant visual piece of art.
Oh, a feast for the eyes.
Yes.
So we've got the design, and basically we always say that if you pledge before November the 1st at the $5 or more above, just basically to cover our postage and printing costs, via Patreon, if you're there via November the 1st, which is coming up this week.
Yeah, 2 days. 2 days from now, Friday.
Basically, we lock the list off and go, yep, these people have supported us on this date. Thank you so much. And then we will send you a Christmas card wherever you are in the world. And also, a reminder, if you are on Patreon, double check that your address is up to date, because we always have people being like, oh no, I moved 6 months ago, forgot to change it.
Yeah.
My old neighbour my old address got my Christmas card. So please, make sure your details are up to date. And if you want to get a Christmas card with this fantastic original artwork, go to patreon.com/dogoonpod. And at the same time, support the show and get a bunch of other rewards, including those bonus episodes that we spoke about at the top of the show. And some other stuff that Matt's going to take us through now.
Yeah, well,
Not a puma.
that does bring us to the fact, quote, or question segment of the show, everyone's favourite segment, which has a jingle that goes like this.
Fact, quote, or question.
This week I'm going to start doing 2, because we've got a few more people on this level now. So just to make sure that we can get through everyone's, we're at the point where it would have taken a year to do each person. So I'm going to do 2 an episode now, so that we can make sure we keep getting people's facts, quotes, and questions out there. So I'd love to start off this week with Jessica English. And as well as giving us a fact, a quote, or a question, you also get to give yourself a title. And Jessica has given herself the title of Chief Counsel for Risks and Fuck-Ups.
Oh, I like that.
That's handy. We needed one of
Yeah.
those. That spot had been sitting vacant for quite a while.
Yeah, thank goodness.
The hiring process was pretty in-depth.
Yep.
And in-depth.
Mhm.
Is that it?
Yep.
I'm losing my mind. Her fact, Jessica's fact, is Sydney Scheinberg turned down a script for a prequel to Jaws based on the story of the USS Indianapolis told during Jaws by Quint, played by Robert Shaw, the old Essendon footballer, I assume. So that's the name of the actor. I'm guessing Quint is the main actor in Jaws? No, is he the We Need a Bigger Boat guy?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't say we need a bigger boat, does he?
Who's Quint? I should watch that movie again.
Wasn't it Richard Dreyfuss who says we're going to need a bigger boat?
Oh.
I was thinking of Martin Lawrence.
I actually don't remember who says it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Who's... Oh, God. New fact. New fucked. Who says we're going to need...
Google has everything.
Who
I
says...
love when you just type a question into Google.
And somebody else has also asked it, and you're like, oh, I'm not alone.
Roy Schneider, who played Brody in the movie. That was
Oh, yeah, it
a
wasn't.
different person again.
Right. So then Quint is the one with glasses.
Okay. Played by the Essendon footballer, Robert
Yep.
Shaw. She says it's a crazy story that would make a good Do Go On episode. So Sydney Scheinberg turned down a script for a prequel to Jaws based on the story of the USS Indianapolis told during Jaws by Quint. That's sound
USS
interesting.
Indianapolis.
Huh. That is a good fact. Thank you, Jessica. English.
I wonder why Scheinberg turned it down. His instincts were always so right.
No.
Yeah. He wanted to take a chimp out of it.
Mm.
That's all, he was always taking chimps out.
Should be
Yeah.
a giant chimp in
There
the
should
water.
be a giant chimp. Stop doing my bits, Dave.
I think we brainstormed that bit together.
We did too.
He was your director for that show. Do you remember?
No, that's new. That's a new bit.
But
Anyway.
we tried to put it in that show, it just didn't quite fit.
Okay, great.
It's a funny bit though.
Let's talk about sizzle. Come see a Melbourne International Comedy Festival. See if that bit survives. And also Jamie Griffiths. He's put two. He's doubled up here. So he's given himself. Do you want his question or his fact? Because I'm not sure.
Question.
Great. Which means
Sorry, Dave. What did you want?
Question.
he has given himself the title of Head of Inhuman Resources. Oh, I like that. Very good for... Feels like that's very appropriate for Blockoween as well.
Ooh, it's a spooky thing.
So his question is, what podcasts do you guys listen to or recommend? I imagine both. Hard to recommend one you don't listen to, but
I love this, but you'll hate it, mate.
what?
Where, do you know where he's from?
Jamie.
Just because one that I've been listening to is will probably only be relevant or interesting to Australians.
Okay, well that's okay. I think you can. He's asking for everyone.
Double J has just done a podcast series about the big day out.
Yes,
And
you
it's
recommended
really
that to me.
good.
I got to check that out.
It's really great.
Because that used to be my life. Was it you a bit too young for Big Day Out, or did you
Yeah.
catch the end of it? Not quite.
I wanted to go to one, and I said to my boyfriend at the time, I was like, we should go to Big Day Out, and he was like, nah, the lineup's not that great this year, and I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And so we didn't go. In the meantime, I booked a girls' trip away with some friends. And then later found out he was going to Big Day Out, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And he said, "I bought you tickets as a surprise, but then you
no.
were going on your holiday, so I just didn't say anything."
You gotta, if you're gonna do a surprise present, you've got to give a
Check the
decoy
calendar.
plan.
Yeah. Yep.
You got to give a decoy.
So he
plan.
went, and,
That's amateur hour stuff.
And I didn't go, and that was the only one that I.
What
would've
year?
gone
Who
to.
had played that year?
I reckon that must have been maybe 2019. No, wait, 2009 is what I meant. Sorry, 2019, 2009 maybe.
It's actually 2019. So Yeah, right.
Maybe.
I reckon I
went to
probably
two.
went to quite a. I must have gone to
it was
8 of them or something.
It probably would have been one of the last ones. When did it end?
Oh, that's a good question. It
2010?
feels like it was ages ago, but maybe it
2011?
wasn't.
And because I was away with friends. It must have been later. We were at least 20. Who knows?
So it ran in Melbourne till 2014. Oh, it was only 5 years ago. It finished.
Okay. It might have been 2012.
Yep. I feel like I
Would've
was
been.
there that year.
Yeah, damn. Anyway, that's a really good podcast. Dave, you listen to any podcasts?
I absolutely have been loving getting back into the UK sketch trio Pappies.
Pappies.
And when we were in London last year, we went and saw Tom. Tom Parry is one of the guys. He was the guy
Oh, yeah.
that took his shirt off a lot. We saw him do
Yeah.
a trial stand-up show, and I really, really like his stuff. Him, Matthew, and Ben are the three guys that do this sketch show called Pappy's Flat Share Slam Down, which is like a quiz show where Matthew plays the landlord and pretends that he's living with the other two guys, and they come along and they just play these ridiculous games. It's recorded live, and it's just a fun show. But then they've started doing this new thing called Beef Brothers, where people send in their beefs and they sort them out, and they have a guest on now. And it's very, very funny. So it used to come out only sporadically in series, but now they're putting out a new episode every week. And
That's
I really,
cool.
really laugh at Pappies. They're funny dudes.
There's two I should listen to. Jamie is from WA.
Oh,
in
right.
Australia, so he may well be interested in that. I'd say I've got a few favourites. I love all the Planet Broadcasting podcasts, obviously. I imagine that you'd be aware of all of those. I was on a recent one of Josh Earl's podcast with three of my favourite musicians. It was pretty wild. Sitting in this room,
Yeah.
Jess Ribeiro was sitting in this chair. Tim Rogers was sitting where you're sitting.
Crazy.
Josh Earl was sitting where Dave's sitting.
What?
I was sitting where no one's sitting.
Yeah,
and Kevin Mitchell was sitting here.
that's a bloody good pod.
I didn't mention this to him, but I saw Kevin Mitchell at a big day out probably in like 2007
Oh,
or
wow.
ages ago. And the power cut out during their set. And they were sort of just left up there, scrambling. And I reckon other bands are going, we'll walk off and come back when the power's back on. Because they couldn't even talk into the mics, It's a huge festival.
Yeah.
So, but they instead, while they waited, they played Leapfrog. It's a band they lined up and just played Leapfrog across each other, across the stage. They're like, these guys are fucking legends.
That's great.
Just so cool and calm and collected under pressure.
Do you know what? For a podcaster, I don't actually listen to enough podcasts.
I'm a big podcast fan. I'm on another one this week that I'd recommend. I've been listening to a lot of for people who like drinking. It's called That's the Drink Talking, and it's with David Quirk and Harley Breen.
I love David Quirk.
And it's recorded at the Espy, an iconic Aussie rock pub. And yeah, there's like a lot of great comedians and me on it over the last couple of months. And they also get in like brewers and the wine equivalent of brewers, and
Yes.
also I think distillers probably. That's interesting if you're into drinking culture and just a couple of funny guys chatting.
They are very funny guys. One more that I also like, and I don't listen to every episode, I sort of drop in and out, is Daniel Connell's podcast, Taking It Easy.
Oh, yeah, that's a great podcast.
Taking It Easy, and he just sort of has
You've been on
has a
it, haven't
cuppa. Yeah, I have, a while ago. Last year.
You took it easy with him. Meso from Planet Broadcasting's been on it.
Yeah, he just gets, and it's not just comedians. He talks to all sorts of different people. He's spoken to like vets and doctors and people just doing different things, and he just chats to them. But he's just such a lovely and he's such a good chat, and he asks good questions.
His ads at the start are so funny.
So good.
It's the same run. Anyway, I won't ruin that.
Has
for you,
your
but-
car shit itself?
so funny. So good.
But yeah, I hope that's helpful. Maybe something in there that you'd be interested in.
Yeah. Also, there's a brand new podcast out this week called Listen Now,
Yes.
which is on our podcast network, the Do Go On podcast
yeah,
network.
we're a network within a network.
And it's recorded in this very studio. It's with me and my cousin, Sam Tonkin. And we're going through back catalogues of music. This first season, potentially the only one we ever do, but if we have fun, we'll keep doing it. It's about Australian band Cold Chisel. They're like Oz pub rock legends. The first episode, we talk about what pub rock is, and we go through that and then talk about a bit of the origins of Cold Chisel, and then from then on we go album by album. And it has been quite a bit of fun.
Awesome.
Yes.
Love that.
Anyhow, so that's Jamie Griffiths. Thank you so much. If you want to get in the fact, quote, or question segment of the show, you can support us at patreon.com/dogoonpod and support us on the Sydney Scheinberg deluxe level. Hey, I just remembered something as well. I'm going to put in someone like a year ago, a listener made us a fact, quote, or question jingle that I've never put in. His Instagram handle is Shatter the Skies. So here is the jingle.
I have a fact. Do you have a fact? No, I have a quote because I like them the most. But do you know what you just did as a host? You asked a question. Fact, quote, or question.
Pretty sick.
Wow. Jess, you're out of a job.
Fair enough.
Oh, no. So the other thing we like to do at this time in the Patreon segment of the show, which is fast becoming about as long as the rest of the show, we like to thank a few of our other great Patreons. And these are Patrons who've probably been supporting us for about a year now. Bloody legends, one and all. And Jess, you normally give us a little game based on the topic or something else. Maybe today not the...
Well,
topic,
no,
huh?
not the topic, but but also the topic.
Okay.
They're not murdered, but I want to give them a colour and a flower.
Oh, great. That's nice.
You know, but it doesn't end with murder.
I like that about it very much. All right. Well, how about I go first and you give us a colour
Please.
and a flower. Maybe you give us a colour. Dave, you give us a flower.
Great.
From MA. Is that Maryland? Dave, is that Maryland? America's oldest
'cause
state?
it could also be Massachusetts.
Oh.
It could also be Michigan for some reason.
We need to ask Gary Goldman. MA, USA state. Sorry.
It is Massachusetts. Yeah.
Boston, where Elizabeth Short was born. And I'd love to thank from Massachusetts, Merrimack, Massachusetts, it's Jesse Mark Russell. First colour you think of, Bob.
Green.
Did you say gay green or gangrene?
Oh, gangrene. That's a nasty colour.
Said green.
Oh.
I didn't say gay.
Oh, you
green.
said gah green.
Yeah.
You were shocked.
And then you're wearing green. And I was looking at you.
Oh.
So I said green. Sorry to
Dave's had a lot of time
reveal
to think
too
of a
much
flower
of the
now.
process.
Think of a flower now.
Flower. First flower.
Daisy.
Green daisy.
Doesn't
That's
make
not
sense.
bad.
Doesn't make sense, but
Well, yeah, are there any
Well,
green
no, it's just
flowers?
not ripe yet.
yeah, that's right.
I don't think there's any actual black dahlias either.
Yeah.
Although I
Oh,
have no
thank
idea.
goodness.
At the
Use
same
your
time.
imagination, Dave. Fuck.
Jesse Mark Russell, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you,
Thank
Jesse.
you, Jesse Mark Russell.
Great name. JMR. Love that. I'd also love to thank from Bonnybridge in Great Britain, Claire Hazard.
Claire Hazard, I guess. All right, Dave. First colour, go.
Pink.
Pink.
Flower.
Rose.
Pink rose.
That's lovely.
That's lovely.
Like that.
That's a
Pink
real
rose.
thing. Okay. Green Daisy, very fun,
Mm.
cartoony. Pink rose, elegant, beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
Single stem.
Oh. Classy.
Classy.
Sounds like a perfume.
Oh,
Pink rose.
pink rose.
May I also thank some
You
people?
buy at a chemist
Yeah.
on discount.
From Boots.
Yeah, could you please thank someone?
I would love to thank some people from Goolwa
Gulwa.
Pardon me?
in South Australia.
Oh, I beg you.
Pardon you.
Pardon you.
Gesundheit. I would like to thank Heidi Ottawell.
Oh, Heidi Ottawell. If I was going to say a colour, do you want me to say a colour?
Colour, go.
Maroon.
It's because I'm wearing maroon.
Because you both wear maroon.
Yeah, we coordinate. We're cute.
Yeah.
Dave, first flower.
Lotus.
Maroon,
Lotus.
Oh.
It's kind of fun to say.
Yeah, maroon lotus.
Maroon
There's a lot
lotus.
going on there.
It's a bit of a
That's
tongue twister.
It's an adventure for the mouth.
Maroon lotus.
Maroon lotus.
Thank you to Heidi, you beautiful maroon lotus.
Heidi Ottawell, Claire Hazard, Jesse Mark Russell. Fantastic names today.
So good. Well, cop this
Okay.
in your face.
Yeah.
Ow.
I would like to thank from Melbourne,
Okay. Australia?
Australia.
Or Florida?
Melbourne, Australia. Andy Shillinglaw.
Oh my gosh. Did you just cast a spell on my heart?
Shilling Law.
Oh, there was the Shilling Law Cottage, one of the first houses near where I grew up in Eltham.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Trying to
name
think
my
of-
colour.
But it was grey.
Grey's,
It was a grey house.
grey is boring.
Oh, think of a flower, Matt. Chrysanthemum? Is that a thing?
Oh, that's
Yep.
nice. A grey chrysanthemum.
I wouldn't know what that looks like, but yeah.
I feel like-
I just thought of a cool flower for next time.
Oh, keep that in the holster.
Ooh.
Andy
I
Shilling
feel like
Law.
chrysanthemums might be Mother's Day flowers.
Right, okay.
Something
I think
like that.
any flower is a Mother's Day flower.
Happy Mother's Day. Here's some grey
I
flowers.
think most flowers I know are associated with a day or something.
Or when you fucked
Daffodil
up, am I
Day.
right?
Sorry, Mum. So-
One time I got flowers and Dad said, "Oh, he's in trouble, is he?" I was like,
Oh.
No.
Was he?
"No."
Oh, what did he do?
Yeah. It's like, "Oh, bloody grovelling, is he?" "Yeah, no, I've done that." "Yeah." I'm like, "No, he's just being nice."
Tell you what, that's what the media does to men. We're always the villain. You know what I mean? So now men can't even do a nice thing. What's the man feminist thing? I'm the man feminist of this podcast. And I like to say it's about time men had a fair go.
Dave, thank some people so I don't punch Matt in the throat.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank from Essex in the UK, Jack Jefford.
Ooh,
is that
Jack
JJ?
Jefford.
Yeah,
JJ.
double J.
Jack Jefford. Oh,
Jefford's good.
Jess has got a flower ready to go. So let me do a colour.
Yeah.
Strawberry.
Strawberry. And the flower is?
Agapantha.
Oh.
Strawberry. Even your face halfway through was like, abort,
I
abort.
know, I wanted to abort on. I'm like, that's not a colour, it's a fruit. But I was too far. If anything, it's closer to a flower than it is a
We've
colour.
got a double flower here.
Strawberry. That's me trying to back out of it, saying a word. Matt,
Strawberry.
you can't reverse time.
I wish. But
Thanks.
now Jack Jefford has a strawberry agapantha.
No, a strawberry.
Sorry, beg your pardon. Strawberry agapantha.
Agapantha. who was famous for writing murder mysteries.
Yes.
And finally, I would like to thank from New Glasgow in Nova Scotia, Canada. Thank you so
Finally,
much
they upgraded it.
too. Now, there's already a colour here, so we could go for it. It's Fraser Green.
Too obvious.
Too obvious. We've already done it green before.
Blue.
Thank you. Out of the box.
Hollyhock.
Split green in half, you get blue.
Hollyhock flower. Have you heard of the hollyhock
I know
flower?
Hollyhock from BoJack Horseman. I
I
didn't
know
that was
hollyhock from
flower.
a Nick Cave lyric.
Really? So it's a type of flower. And I only know that because when I was in Los Angeles just last week, a few days ago, I saw you can go and see Frank Lloyd Wright, the famous American architect. There's one house in LA that you can visit, and it's called Hollyhock House because the lady who built it, who was an heiress, her father was an oil tycoon, she loved hollyhock and she wanted everything to look like hollyhock flowers.
Huh.
There you go. So blue hollyhock, that is the nickname for Fraser Green.
Blue
does
hollyhock.
hollyhock look
I like
like?
that. Yeah, what does a hollyhock? Let me Google hollyhock.
I just know it from.
Oh, Dave,
Oh,
there you
that's
are.
quite pretty.
That's a cool flower.
Yeah. It was a
Okay.
cool house too. Yeah,
they look real
Hollyhock House.
British.
They
British-
are.
Um,
It says here they're native to Asia and Europe.
okay.
You just looked at a flower and said it looks British.
There's just something to be, that looks like Peter Bunny Rabbit would be popping around there,
okay,
you know.
Peter Bunny Rabbit. Peter Rabbit. Strawberry.
Oh no.
Peter Bunny Rabbit.
I feel like there's a few signs that we should be bringing this to a close.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
Thank you so much to everyone that supports the show on Patreon. And one more time, if you want to get that Christmas card, make sure you get on it ASAP. So we've got your name and address, and we can send you that in the mail.
And thank you so much to our beautiful bouquet of flowers, Fraser, Jack, Andy, Heidi, Claire, and Jessie.
Oh, our little flowers. Precious little flowers. If you want to get in touch, you can email us at dogoonpod@gmail.com. We're dogoonpod on all of our socials, or everything's on dogoonpod.com.
Oh yeah.
Hell yes. And sadly, that brings us to the end of Blocktober Grace month.
I'm looking forward to Boxing Day tomorrow.
What are you going to do for Boxing Day?
I'll go to the Boxing Day sales.
Oh, wow. And but yeah, thanks to everyone that voted on topics, suggested any of those awesome topics. It's been, I reckon, our best block yet.
I reckon so too.
Here's to an even better block next year.
Oh, Block
Can't wait.
2020. That's cool.
Yeah,
I love the
sick.
festive time of year because from here on, it's all festive. We're moving
Yeah.
into the other famous festive period of the year, Thanksgiving, which is, I think, sometime coming up.
Yeah, and huge here in Australia.
Yeah, a president pardons a turkey. That's the best bit.
Yeah.
I love the fact that the American president does a bit of pantomime. It's so weird. Is that still a thing?
Probably. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Obama definitely used to do it.
Oh my gosh. So Trump's going to do it. That is going to be interesting.
Anyway, let's go.
We got to go. Thank you so much. We'll be back next week with another episode. And remember, come to Perth this weekend. Thank you. Goodbye.
Later.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the Planet Broadcasting Network.
Visit planetbroadcasting.com for more podcasts from our great mates. I mean, if you want. It's up to you.
Uno, a memento. Me editing.
Sorry.
In her 2010 book, The Black Dahlia, Shattered Dreams, Brenna Hoogan, Short's father, said Short's father, Cleo, worked build...
Try again.
This is a really poorly written paragraph, sorry. Let me try again and try and fill in the blank words as I go.
This is Acast Recommends. Every week we pick one of our favorite shows, and this is one we think you're gonna love.
These are the moments in history that made us.
It's one small step for man.
And I've seen the promised land.
But they aren't the whole story.
Watson and Crick did not mention her in their Nobel Prize acceptance speech.
There's a wave of molasses coming down Commercial Street.
This is History This Week, a unique look at the moments that have changed our lives, whether we know it or not. Every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Acast is home to the biggest podcasts from the U.S. and around the world. Subscribe to this show and hundreds more now via Acast or where